What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing a head-to-head heavyweight bout between the Chase Ink Business Trifecta and the Amex Business Trifecta, with said trifecta consisting of the Amex Platinum Business, the Gold Business, and the Blue Business Plus. So we're going to be comparing the cards. We're going to be comparing them as a system in their respective ecosystems and abroad. And in addition to that, we are going to find out which one of them actually qualifies for the vaunted, for the most valuable award. Give me that from Chad's Money Minutes. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Welcome back to my dad's channel. If you're new here, make sure to click that like button and subscribe, and don't forget to share.
So first things first, let's get into the Chase Trifecta. My mistake. The Chase Ink Business Trifecta. We don't want to cause any confusion whatsoever. And the very first card, I'm gonna actually showcase these cards in the order of which I received them, because I literally received them back to back in November, December, and January. So the very first card we have up is the Chase Ink Business Unlimited. First things first, let's talk about the sub. Now, when I got the card, it was for 75,000 UR points, or 750 equivalent cash back for $7,500 worth of spend within the first 3 months. Currently, they have a best ever offer of 90,000 points for $6,000 worth of spend within the first 3 months. So you're actually getting more points for less spend, thereby raising your return on spend for the sub, which is one of the most valuable things about any credit card that they can offer. So the second thing about the card is annual fee. That's what everybody wants to know about. And that is zero, zip, zilch, nada, nothing. It is a no annual fee business card that is currently running a mega sign up bonus offer, which actually sweetens the pot. So you can hold this card forever and not really have to worry about it, because it will not be a consistent draw on your business expenses. So as far as the international capability, obviously as a Visa card, it is accepted internationally, but for the sake of this, it's just gonna be a yes or no, and international availability is going to be a thumbs down on this one, because the card does carry a 3% foreign transaction fee for purchases made outside of the US. So even though you can do it, understand that there is a cost to doing international business with this card, one that you may consider, especially when we get into the multipliers. Now, since we're not talking about personal cards, businesses operate different from personal accounts. So here's the thing that you have to understand is that we got to talk APRs. Now with this card, there's an introductory 12-month APR at 0%. So when you are getting inventory, when you are making investments into scaling your business, you don't have to worry about the added issue of interest. So you can take your time paying your balance down, because you are a business, you are not a person. Now, mind you, I will always advocate that if you can, pay your balance down as soon as humanly possible, or pay it off, try not to overspend. But in the cases of business, that's literally, you gotta spend money to make money, and most people can understand that. Now, finally, for this card, it's 1.5% cash back on every single purchase, just straight blanket. That is it. You spend $1,000, you're getting 1.5% back. Spend $10,000, 1.5% back. So that is it. And that's how it ties into the foreign transaction fees. Because if you're paying 3% on a purchase and you're only getting 1.5%, I'll go ahead and just sit back and let you guys do the math, because the math isn't going to math in your favor. So the next card I'm going to bring to you is the second one that I got. Is the Chase Ink Business Preferred. Now, its sign-up bonus is 100,000 Chase UR points for $15,000 worth of spend within the first 3 months, which makes it different from the unlimited, obviously. Now, with this card, you gotta understand, this is the big brother to all of them, so you gotta spend more to make more. $15,000 to spend for 100,000 points, though, isn't the best, so you really need to consider that before you get this card, but we're gonna get into some of the better benefits as we, move on with this. Now, here's a benefit that's not better, to be totally transparent, and that's the annual fee. The annual fee for the Chase Ink Business Preferred is $95. Could it be worse? Absolutely. Is it free? Absolutely not, but that's the cost of doing business. Now, I am not a financial advisor, but I have heard on the wind that annual fees for business cards are a business expense. So you may want to speak with your tax professional to see if that is an expense that you can write off against your business. Once again, not financial advice, just something I've heard on the wind. Now, an upside to this card is that international business is definitely a green light, as there are no foreign transaction fees for this card. So if you have to reach out and do any business in a foreign country, seeing as how we are sandwiched between two of them, and I'm talking to my coastal people, my northern people, my very, very, very southern people, my southwestern people, that could be the case. So you don't have to worry about paying any extra gimme money on top of your transactions should you use this card internationally. Now, as you're doing business, you got to understand there is no intro 0% APR for this card, and the APR is high. The basement is like 19%, might be 17. The fact that it bristles me to pay interest. I didn't even specify, but the fact of the matter is when you get this card, understand carrying a balance on this card as opposed to the 0% introductory Chase Ink Business Unlimited might not be the smartest financial decision, although it might be necessary. Now, these are all Visa signature cards, so they may come in at the sub $10,000 limit that a Visa Infinite would come in at, but still you can go ahead and move the chess pieces as you see fit. But understand, as of right now, there is no zero interest APR bonus for this card. So let's talk multipliers. Now with this card, you have a few categories where you will get 3x back or 3% back for every dollar you spend in the form of Chase UR points. Now there are categories for that. So you get 3x back for online advertising or social media advertising. You get 3x back in travel. You get 3x back with internet, cable, and phone services, i.e. cell phones. And you get 3x back on shipping services. All of those categories give you 3x back up to the first $150,000 worth of spend per anniversary year. All other purchases get you back 1x per dollar. Now, another benefit, in addition to the multipliers for this card specifically, is that it grants you access to Chase travel partners. Literally the exact same travel partners that you get on the consumer side with the Sapphire line of cards, the Sapphire Preferred and the Sapphire Reserve. So even if you do not have the personal cards on the consumer side for business reasons, you can actually leverage your points and trade them in for travel. So that is definitely a feather in the cap, and that kind of legitimizes the $95 fee that you are going to have to pay for this card. Now, last but not least, and the third card that I acquired, I literally acquired it about a week ago, this month in January, is a Chase Ink Business Cash. Now this card, just in time for tax season, but the very first thing we want to get into is that it shares almost every quality with the Chase Business Unlimited. Now, we're going to get into what differentiates it, but as far as the sub goes, it's the same right now, best ever, 90,000 points for $6,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months. Annual fee is a big fat goose egg. And this one also has foreign transaction fees, so you want to leave it at home. So out of the three of these, your Ink Preferred is the only one you want to take international, so I just want to let you know. Now, what differentiates this card in the trifecta is its multipliers. And those multipliers are 5x back at office supply stores, 5x back for phone services, 2x back for restaurants and gas station purchases, and then 1x for everything else. Now, if you're thinking outside of the box with that, office supply stores, they are a dying breed. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but in my local area, office supply stores are very scant and few and far between. But in another video that I've done, I've also noted that they do sell gift cards, which Chase isn't terribly as sensitive to as another company, but you can actually get those, get the 5x back. And in addition to that, namely Staples, they have Apple products, Apple accessories, things that you can get where your Chasing Business Cash is actually better than the actual Apple card in order to purchase Apple stuff, because you're going to get 5x back on it and you'll have all the protections. So this is the Chasing Business Trifecta. You'll notice that I didn't get into the Chase Visa Business Signature, all that other stuff, the legal mumbo jumbo and the other ancillary benefits, because really and truly, they're mainly the same. All three cards provide primary CDW. That's not an extra cost, that is a signature benefit. And that's just one example I'm gonna give you, so that way I don't bore you with a lot of fluff that I'll end up having to repeat 3 times anyway. We're gonna keep this high level for this trifecta and the Amex trifecta, which I'll be getting into in a bit. So that is something to consider. You have all 3 of these cards. They're very good cards. So, I mean, let's just put some thought on it. Now, here we have the Amex Business Trifecta. The first card we have up to bat is going to be a card that I'm actually interested in, but doesn't really make sense for my situation right now, so I'll wait until I'm a little bigger, and I'll be using that as well because they have some great sign-up bonuses, but they vary a lot. It can be anywhere from 100,000 or even deeper into 80,000, all the way up to 150,000, but it's the Amex Business Platinum. Now, I have the Consumer Platinum, which I love. Everybody knows, it's no secret. I've done playlists and videos left, right, and center about it. So for the Amex Business Platinum, as far as subs goes, it's variable, anywhere from 80,000 to 150,000 if you get a targeted mailer, or actually they will combine benefits if you open this card and open Amex Business checking account. So at this point now, what I'm going to use is a static 100,000 points. Well, as a matter of fact, let's do one better. Let's do 125,000 points, since this is what I see most often, for $15,000 worth of spend within 3 months. Now, this is something I normally don't do. I normally go off of paper, but in this case, because it's so variable, we just need to stick right in the middle somewhere. And I think we can all agree that's a fair assessment. Now, Amex is famous for a couple of things. One thing they are famous for are annual fees. Now, with this card, it carries the exact same fee as a Consumer Platinum card at a whopping $695 a year. That's a tough pill to swallow, but just let's remember, Amex is really skewed towards higher spenders. They make no secret of it. The average household income and net worth of Amex cardholders is naturally higher than Chase, as Chase is a bigger bank that caters to a lot of other socioeconomic levels. So let's keep that in mind with a $695 annual fee. Now, however, one of the things that I like about the majority of Amex cards, especially the charge cards, is that international business is easy, because there are no foreign transaction fees. There are none with the Platinum card on the consumer side or the business side. So that's not something that you have to worry about, just in case you need to get inventory out of a supplier from out of the country. These are things that they're not gonna add extra costs to your bottom line, which is fantastic. Now, as far as APR is concerned, I wouldn't go looking too hard for intro bonus APRs, because like I said, Amex is for the high spender, and they do not keep that a secret. I don't even think I want to entertain any APRs, because this is a charge card. And one thing that really kind of gets under my skin is this new pay over time thing that they're trying to impress on charge cards to make them credit card hybrids. It makes no sense to me. And really and truly, the APR depends on you, and the range can be a little wide. So let's just say 0 bonus APR. Just pay your bill off. This is a charge card. Let's keep it old school. Let's keep it the way it was meant to be. So the Platinum multipliers, much like the consumer version of the card, they suck. It is what it is. I mean, that is my high level assessment. They suck. But with the Business Platinum, you do get a benefit that you don't get with the consumer side Platinum, and that is purchases over $5,000 for pretty much anything actually earn you 1.55%. So in other words, instead of 1 MR point per dollar, you get 1.5 MR points per dollar. Other than that, you just get the 5% when you do direct airline purchases and so on and so forth, and when you do bookings for hotels through the Amex portal. Now, here is a sweetener that they have there, is that if you use points on the Amex portal in order to book your flights, you actually get 35% of those points right back to you. So think of it as a 35% point discount. So that is definitely something that people tend to take advantage of, and they tend to like concerning this card. Now, the other benefits of the card don't really make it the coupon book that the consumer side is, because these are aimed squarely at businesses. Now, those credits can actually net you, if you use them all, over $1,400 in value, thereby canceling the annual fee at almost a factor of 2. So that's definitely something you want to consider, especially if you're getting this card, to make it worth your while. And also, if you're holding this card plus holding the consumer card, understand you got to keep track of this stuff. So those benefits, I'm not going to get into how much they are, but I'll let you know what they are. There is a cell phone bill, which is an annual allotment, which they will credit as long as you use this card to pay your cell phone bill. There is an Adobe credit, an Indeed credit for recruiting. There is a Dell credit, which is biannual, so you can make purchases at Dell. There's a $189 clear credit, so that can be free for you. And also, you'll get the $200 airline incidental credit. With the Amex Gold Business, we're going to talk about all the same things. Now, with the Amex Gold Business, we're going to go with what's on Amex's webpage, which is 70,000 MR points for $10,000 of eligible spend within the first 3 months. This business, they're expecting this high spend, and these returns are just, they're not that great. But it is what it is. That's what we're going to be dealing with. Now, moving on to the annual fee. The annual fee for this card is going to be $295, which is actually $50 more than the consumer side. And one downside is that there are no real credits to offset this fee. So this $295, you're going to have to offset it with your spend and strategy and how you deploy this card. Now, as with most Amex charge cards, this too is a charge card, so there are 0 foreign transaction fees, so you can feel comfortable doing international business with this card and not have to worry about any extra fees on top of what you may have to pay already. Now, much like the Amex Platinum Business, understand that there's no APR, so should you get caught out there and you have to pay interest on this card, let's just call it anywhere from 18 to 27%. This is just not something you want to do. So remember, this is a charge card. Let's treat it as such and think about that even before we start typing out that application. Now, the good part is that the multipliers are actually variable with this card. Depending on your 2 highest spends, you can get 4x back per dollar spent. Now, they have multiple categories, so you don't have to stick with just restaurants and groceries like you do on the consumer side, because groceries isn't even an option here. But these are all for business expenses, so it's definitely something you want to keep in mind if maybe eating out at restaurants isn't a high part of what your business entails. So the 4X applies to the first $150,000 spent in any of these categories. We have tech and software solutions, shipping, restaurants, advertisement, gasoline purchases, and air travel. Now, the air travel one kind of overlaps with the platinum, which earns more, so I wouldn't even assume that you would use that. Now, also, the last sweetener, as far as the benefits go for this card, is just like on the platinum card. If you use points attached to this card, if this is the card that you use, and you use points to book air travel, you actually get 25% of those points returned back to you. So think of it as a 25% points discount. So that could be helpful as well, especially if you like to book a lot of travel using your points, if you have huge stashes of them. Now, moving on to a business card from Amex that I actually really enjoy, that I really like, that I really respect, is going to be the Blue Business Plus. The reason I didn't use a Blue Business Cash is because I wanted to keep everything uniform with MR point earning cards. Now, with the Blue Business Plus, the current sign up is going to be 15,000 MR points for $3,000 worth of spend within the first 3 months, which it's okay. It's right. But remember, still a business card. So, things get better as we move on. Now, the reason I say it gets better is because the annual fee for the Amex Blue Business Plus is 0. So that is a welcome relief with a 0 annual fee card. And it actually starts to even get better from here. Well, in a bit. Got a little bit more bad news for you. And that news is that this card is definitely one you want to keep in the States because it has a 2.7% foreign transaction fee on purchases made on it. So you definitely want to be aware of that. As far as this one goes, you want to keep it in the good old US of A. Now, back to the good news is that this card also has an intro APR of 0% for the first year of use. So you can actually have balances on this card for inventory and things that you may not be able to pay initially as you wait for revenue, but you will not have to worry about interest. Now, mind you, when I speak about bonus intro APRs, you still have to pay your bill. But if you do not pay it off in full every month, incur any penalties, and by penalties, I'm talking interest. So this one is good, but after that first year, remember that Amex hammer drops hard. So anywhere from 18 to 27% interest. So please don't make this a habit. Use it for a necessity. This is not a charge card. This is a credit card. So use it as such and exercise wisdom in doing so. Now, as far as the multipliers on this card, it's 2% back on everything. Every dollar you spend, you get 2 points. That's it. There's really nothing more to it. I love Simple. Simple is fantastic, and this card has the ability to rack up a lot of points, especially in nondescript category spend that the Platinum and the Gold card do not cover. So you still make sure that you're earning a basement of 2x points, which will actually get you head and shoulders above cards that maybe earn 1 or 1.5. Hint, hint. So think about that. And also, this card has expanded spending power. So based on your spending habits, your outlying credit, and your relationship with Amex, they will let you spend beyond your limit in order to get business purchases done, which can be a powerful benefit, especially if you have cost-intensive inventory and or services that you need to subscribe to in order to do business well. So without a bunch of boring conversation, let's just talk about how these two stack up. Now, me personally, I have the Chase Ink Business Trifecta in my possession. I do not have the business cards on the Amex side, except for the Blue Business Plus. That one I do have. I do not have the Business Platinum and the Business Gold. And I would welcome any input in the comments to people who actually have real world use cases who can tell me how they feel about these cards. But as far as these comparisons go, we're gonna judge them on 5 separate criteria to see who gets to gimme that. Now, the criteria that I'm gonna be using is sign-up bonus, points earning potential, redemption value, ease of use, and finally, the cost. Hey, look, that's business, assets, and liabilities. So as far as sign-up bonuses, right now, Chase is running best ever sign-up bonuses on the annual fee-free cards, but not on the preferred. So the preferred's running its normal, it's par for the course sign-up bonus, but what happens when the period for the best ever bonuses runs out on the annual fee-free cards? They will sink back to where they were, $75,000 a piece for $7,500 worth of spend within 3 months. So now with this, because I have experience with Amex and their targeted sign-up bonuses can be insane, can be literally almost double what they normally refer to on the Amex site, you can actually almost tailor your sign-up bonus if you go the Amex route. So in this category, the point is gonna go to Amex because you can literally, kind of mix and match and build something. And this is based squarely on the ability to accrue points. I'm not taking return on spend into example here. At the end of the day, which one will you end up with more points from? So on average, I'm actually gonna give this one to Amex. By all means, please feel free to disagree, but I'm just saying all else equal, if you can customize as opposed to static subs, I would probably lean towards customization as I can get more than I bargained for. So secondly, with the points earning potential, now Chase has some fairly decent categories. Actually, so does Amex. Now remember, please, let's take off our consumer caps here because we're dealing in the realm of business. If you notice, you won't hear anything about groceries because businesses don't normally go to grocery stores because businesses don't have to eat. But with the categories that are definitely part of most businesses, gas expenses, software expenses, shipping expenses, advertising expenses, in this one, once again, Amex gets the point because of the variability of the gold card. That is going to be the linchpin of their trifecta because you're not locked in the way you are locked in with the business preferred. You can actually, if the operations of your business should change, if gas prices should rise, if maybe you cut out restaurants and you have to ship more product, if you have to do more advertising, you can actually use that in order to maximize the points that you get. And at any case, the max you can get on the Chase side is 3x, whereas you can go all the way to 5x on the Amex side. So Amex gets the point on this one again. Now, redemption value, for the points that you earn in both of these trifectas, this one got a little dicey. Because let's just talk nuts and bolts. With the Amex travel partners and redemption partners, look, they are fantastic. They are awesome. And the best part is that every single card that you carry in that trifecta gives you access to those partners. Whereas with the Chase cards, there's only one. If you don't have it, you don't get access to some of the best way to redeem points and one of the main reasons why we're all in this credit card game. But Chase actually also has fantastic travel partners, including one that has just gotten multiple people just crazy amounts of value, and it's very popular, and that's Hyatt. Hyatt Hotels, it's just really, I don't need to explain it, because if you're in this game, if you're watching myself and other YouTubers, you already understand that just Hyatt as a travel partner has actually inspired a ton of people to get into the Chase ecosystem over and above any of the other values that they have. So as far as point redemption, I'm actually gonna call this one even, and the reason being is that for the most part, commonly speaking, MR points and UR points are normally valued at just around the same price anyway. But with Chase and the ability to pay yourself back, even though they're starting to gut that, it's always better than anything American Express has to do with cash back. Like, just leave that alone. That is definitely not a feather in their cap. So in this one, they both have different strengths, but they are both pretty robust. So once again, I'm gonna call this one even. In the realm of ease of use, let's just cut through the fluff. Amex acceptance, it's about right here. And let's talk about Visa acceptance. Oh, look at this, look at this, look at it. Yep, it's there. Visa, MasterCard, Amex. Look, worldwide, that's just what you're dealing with. And we think about this in a US vein, just as far as the American market goes. But like I said, we're sandwiched between two countries. And there are a lot of countries where vendors really don't even want to use credit cards. And if they do, you're going to run into a Visa, you're going to run into a MasterCard. So as far as ease of use goes, yes, Amex is built for the big spender, and people definitely want people spending big, but that also comes with big interchange fees that Amex is notorious for charging vendors. So even in the US, you will see that every card under the sun is accepted except for Amex. That is not by accident, it is absolutely by design. So for the ease of use, the point goes to the Chase Trifecta, as all three cards are Visa Business Signature cards. So you really don't have to worry about a lot of trouble having them accepted, because chances are if they don't accept the Visa, they don't accept anything. So here's one of the shining qualities about the Chase Business Ink Trifecta. It's cost. I have not even included the Ink Business Premier. For the sake of this, we're just using the preferred. But even if we did include the Premier, it would still be wildly less expensive than the Amex Business Trifecta. Hey, look, numbers don't lie. I can't really make the numbers do something that the numbers won't do. The cost, simply stated, is a point in Chase's pocket, full stop. Let's just do the numbers. In any case, you have $95 for three cards, and you have $990 for three cards, because that is the cost of the Amex system. $695 plus $295 plus 0, that's $990. That is for a little hair over 10 times the cost of the Chase Trifecta. So that is definitely something that you want to consider. So to sum it up, both these trifectas, all things considered, I'm trying to be as transparent as possible and as fair as possible. Honestly, from my consideration, they come in at a draw. Who knew? You got 2.5 points one way, 2.5 points the other. So in each case, each one of them has a setback that the other one fills pretty much without issue. So as far as which one, if you held both of these up in front of me, I would use both hands to say, give me that. But until next time, I'll catch you later.